Afternoon, everybody. Movie review time. Knives Out. Written and directed by Rian Johnson. What's it like? Is it any good? Should you spend your money? Stick around and you'll find out. Now, it was election night last night, and I'm sure we all know the result. Absolute catastrophe for Labour. Victory for Boris Johnson and the Tories. But we're not here to gloat. I went to the movies last night with my son Joel, my favourite movie buddy, and we saw Knives Out, the latest film by Rian Johnson, starring, who's it star? Jamie Lee Curtis, Don Johnson, remember him? Daniel Craig, Christopher Plummer playing a very old guy. He seems to be making a living by playing very old guys. And it's a kind of, it's a murder mystery in the style, I suppose, of Agatha Christie. Now, my daughter loves Poirot and Marple and Endeavour and Midsummer Murders and Morse and all those kind of detective stories. So I spend an awful lot of my time watching these programs on ITV3, and I kind of enjoy them. She actually loves them. And Knives Out is a kind of American version of a Poirot or a Marple. It is a murder mystery set in a big house where the patriarch, played by Christopher Plummer, on his 85th birthday during a party is murdered, and the rest of the story is about who or which member of the family, if it was a member of the family, committed the murder and why. And Daniel Craig plays a private detective called Benoit Blanc. Yes, crazy name, crazy guy, who gets involved and investigates the case to uncover the killer. Now, when I came out of the film, and partly during the watching of the film, I looked at my watch a few times, and when I came out, my son said to me, "What did you think?" I said, "Well, I didn't really like it." And then we had a discussion in the car, and he opened my eyes to a number of things about the film. And the more I think about it, normally what happens is I come out of the film and I say I quite like it, and then the more I think about it, the less I did like it. This film, I felt kind of the opposite. When I came out, I didn't like it, and the more I felt about it, the more I think I did like it. And part of the reason why I did like it is because he made me see it in a different way. So thanks, Joel. Now, I don't want to give the outcome away. I don't want to tell you who done it. I'm not going to tell you who done it. Rian Johnson came on in a little film clip before we saw the film saying, please don't reveal who done it, so I'm not going to do that. It's about how these characters interact and act together. Now, most of them overact, but they overact in a rather enjoyable way. And what Joel said to me was, it's an enjoyable, cheesy romp. And he's put his finger on it. It is a very enjoyable film. It is very cheesy. It is overacted like mad, but it's supposed to be overacted like mad. This old country house that the patriarch lives in is a massive house. It's full of knickknacks and gewgaws and little models and pictures all over the place. And there are mysterious people hiding in the shadows, and there's an elderly woman who's probably over 100 who plays Christopher Plummer's mother, and Christopher Plummer is 85, so she's got to be at least 100, but probably 102, 103. It's never quite revealed. Don Johnson is quite good. Jamie Lee Curtis is quite good. Couple of the characters, I didn't really know who they were, although my son Joel recognised them as being quite famous people. The other main famous person in it, I suppose, is Daniel Craig. Now, I've had a problem with Daniel Craig's character, or more specifically, his accent. Now, Joel said to me he sounds exactly like Kevin Spacey in House of Cards, and I didn't quite understand why Daniel Craig had to put on this particular kind of Southern American drawl accent. I suppose one of the reasons is so you wouldn't think you were watching James Bond. For me, it rather got in the way of the picture, but Joel quite enjoyed it. And when I think back on it, the way he speaks is part of the enjoyment. Yes, it's part of the romp. It's part of the fun. Don't go to this film expecting anything too deep. Don't go to this film expecting anything too profound. Go to this film expecting an enjoyable romp. You'll have a good time. Suspend your disbelief. There are various aspects of the plot that you could drive a truck through, but which Poirot or Midsummer Murders or Endeavour or Morse or Marple have you ever seen in which you couldn't drive a truck through the plot? Does it matter? No, it doesn't. Just sit back, and for 2.25 hours you can wallow in a kind of nostalgia. You can wallow in the fact that the rich have the same kind of problems as you and I, only, as Scott Fitzgerald says, they have more money. And you can just enjoy it for what it is. A romp. A cheesy romp. A funny in parts romp. A slightly scary romp. A romp in which only one person gets killed, and you know who gets killed. It's Christopher Plummer who gets killed, but why he gets killed and who did the killing and what is the series of clues that lead up to Daniel Craig identifying the real killer. That is the fun in watching the film. It's not a great film, but it's a good film, and it's an enjoyable film. And if you want an enjoyable film to go and watch that will take your mind off the disaster that 5 years worth of Tory rule is going to engender for some of us, then this is the film to go and see. So, thanks for watching. Go and see the film. See you next time.